Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well because there's a whole bucket of new stuff to chew on from the Zenless Zone Zero update that just landed, version 2.4. And I want to walk you through the patch like we're trading impressions after a long run through the new chapter. The one-line headline is simple: new story content, two fresh S-rank agents to test drive, a reshaped set of Bangboos and events, and some quality of life and balance touches that quietly shift how a few comps feel in practice. When you log in after the maintenance window, you'll notice the new chapter waiting for you. It's where the update really starts to earn its stripes because the narrative beats come with clear material rewards and a handful of missions that funnel resources and pulls. The developers scheduled the maintenance, so most regions saw the servers go down for a few hours before the patch. And as always, there's that compensation waiting in your mailbox once you load in. Make sure you grab it before running off to the new content. Now on to the new faces. Dialyn is the first headliner in this version, and she's honestly one of the more distinctive agents we've seen so far. The design leans into that panda telephone theme, but what matters is how she plays. Her weapon behaves like a chakram, letting her control space in a way that feels both smooth and tactical. Her kit leans into stun, interruption, and overall disruption, making her perfect for players who love shaping the pace of the battlefield instead of just overwhelming it with pure damage. Watching her in action, you realize she's all about reading the enemy's rhythm and deciding when to pause the music entirely. Then there's Banyue, who shows up later in the version cycle. She's got that cybernetic martial artist feel and hits like she's trying to crack the floor under her opponent rather than just the opponent itself. She plays into rupture synergies and big, satisfying burst windows, which makes her a natural pick for anyone who loves high-risk, high-payoff melee gameplay. If Dialyn is about control and measured timing, Banyue is about unleashing pressure at the perfect second and watching a health bar melt because you executed your rotation cleanly. The two new agents couldn't feel more different, and that contrast is exactly why this update shakes up team building in a refreshing way. Now let's talk Bangboos. This patch adds new ones, Berkblick and Build and Bulak, that come with fresh synergies for the auto chess mode and for general combat setup. Anytime the Bangboo roster expands, the little meta within that mode shifts. Some combinations that might have felt mid before suddenly become viable, and new traits can elevate underused units. The auto chess mode got some updates too, giving returning players something new to figure out instead of just repeating whatever lineup worked last time. It's one of those side modes you can easily get lost in when you just meant to do a quick round before logging off. Patch fixes and balance adjustments are pretty standard but meaningful if you care about optimizing your roster. There are fixes for reported issues across missions and combat interactions, plus some tweaks that subtly affect damage scaling and certain gear interactions. It's not a giant shakeup that flips the entire game upside down, but it's enough that longtime players will immediately notice when something feels smoother or slightly more responsive. There are also small interface and shop tweaks, including changes in things like exchange cycles so you don't get caught off guard hoarding the wrong items. Events in this version are generous and packed with rewards. Multiple side activities, login missions, and special challenges feed you polychrome, materials, and upgrade items at a decent pace. If you're aiming to pull one of the new agents, these events are going to be your bread and butter. They often run alongside the phases of the banners, so if you're trying to maximize efficiency, time your clears around when the banners switch. Free-to-play players get a nice boost from these events, making the early part of the version feel rewarding regardless of where you stand with your summons. Because of the arrival of Dialyn and Banyue, team composition gets an interesting shift. Dialyn brings disruption that can replace or supplement other controllers, freeing a slot for more damage or utility in comps that previously needed strict crowd control. Meanwhile, Banyue brings new tools to rupture-focused teams, letting aggressive players lean even harder into burst windows. Seeing how the community experiments with them is going to be fun, because both kits invite creativity in different ways. If you're making content around this update, there's honestly a ton to showcase. You've got the story reactions, the first impressions of Dialyn's kit, the later exploration of Banyue's burst combos, and then the Bangboo auto chess videos where you try to figure out the most broken setups before someone else posts a guide. The patch itself is structured to give you multiple angles for footage without repeating scenes or commentary, so there's plenty to talk through naturally while showing viewers what's new. Overall, this update lands in that comfortable but exciting zone where the game gives you fresh things to explore without overwhelming you. New characters with distinct personalities and playstyles, updated systems that add depth, events that actually feel worth doing, and enough tweaks behind the scenes to improve the general flow. It all comes together in a way that feels rewarding, whether you're a diehard player or someone hopping in casually whenever something big drops. With everything laid out, it's the perfect moment to jump back in, test out the newcomers, and see what kind of teams and strategies start surfacing over the next few weeks.